So, V, do you want to go next, or do you want to go after me?
I can jump on this real quick.
Have at it.
Yeah. For those of you who are following the Democratic 2020 presidential elections, which should be all of you, Andrew Yang came out with some statements about atheism, which I have thoughts about. Just for a clarifier, the ACA is a nonprofit and does not endorse any candidate.
Nor can we.
Nor can we.
Yeah.
And either way, I'm not voting for Yang. But
to say we can't, even though
right.
we might want
even
to
though
desperately.
maybe one day. So when asked about atheism and the rights of atheists, Yang said, some of my best friends are atheists.
That's always a good place to start.
That was my thought as well. It's like, usually when you say some of my best friends are blank, you have one friend. That is that fill in the blank.
Oh my God.
So I'm not casting aspersions on his honesty, but I would like to meet Yang's many atheist best friends.
That'd be cool.
And he says some of them are also just some of the best people I know. And it's ridiculous that people would think that you are somehow less moral or less worthy of the full protection and enjoyment of all of our virtues as a society because of your religious beliefs. Then he goes on to say that atheism is just as sound as of a philosophy as someone who is brought up in an organized religion. Thoughts on that phrasing? Is atheism just as sound as religion, guys?
I mean,
I would say more so.
It is not less sound.
All right, see,
Brave.
Jamie needs to run for office for something. No, I thought it was an interesting quote because, first of all, kudos to Yang. There have been a couple of things that I've been keeping an eye on throughout this process. Cory Booker was asked about separation of church and state with regards to atheists, and in that moment he was like, yes, I support that. You would have my full protection.
I missed that question. I heard him say something about faith where it was, don't tell me what you believe, show me what you do, basically.
Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, I don't remember that, but that actually, I like that quote a lot.
Said it. It's not a quote. I said it more succinctly and better.
Oh, I was like, see, again.
Yeah.
Tell me when you sign up for office.
Basically what he said, though.
Yeah, exactly. So he's kind of come out for it. Well, not for it, but not against it. Mayor Pete has acknowledged the existence of non-religious people, usually accompanied by a but after that. So I have feelings about that person too.
Oh, Petey. Okay.
But Yang seems to be the first person to actually explicitly talk about atheists and atheism and the morality or, perceptions thereof. So, that's amazing, and I want to see more of that. But also, for me, the issue is that he's not talking to atheists here. And it's still that stigma of, I will talk about atheists, but not to them. I'm still framing this with the assumption that the people who are listening to me are religious and need this understanding. Whereas we're making up, 20% of the population now, religious nuns?
Nuns are 25.
25%. That's a significant demographic. That's not even a minority anymore. Yeah. That's a valid portion of the...
We're right up there with evangelicals.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I have a 2018 stat that says 20%.
I think it might be 25 among millennials and 20% overall.
I thought it was...
In any case, it's...
I think...
Yeah.
I think it's higher among millennials.
Sorry, I derailed us.
No, this is what the numbers are. All of us with our Google machines not using them.
We need numbers. No, but I think that's what irked me most was just the idea that regardless of how many non-religious people there are, no matter how many atheists seem to come out and make themselves visible and make themselves active in politics, people are still talking to the people who are religious. And that would be like going to an event and talking about any other minority group to the majority. Can you imagine a candidate going to an event and talking about the LGBTQ, GSRM people in the room to the straight people? It's like that would be such a faux pas. And with this, it seems like the same deal.
Yeah. I mean, it plays into this like it would certainly be like a faux pas that would be even more universal, that even people that would be like, well, of course you're not talking about, to say like, well, let me tell you about women.
Right.
Right. Like, well, so I fully respect, women's right, as should you, right? Like to a broad audience.
Right,
It's
exactly.
like,
Assuming that
as
either
opposed
women
to-
are not respecting themselves or you're not talking about women.
Yeah, like if you said, as should everyone, I can say that to you, right?
Right.
But I wouldn't say, like, let me tell you about women.
Exactly.
They are people that are not in this conversation is what this language implies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm right here and I talk a lot, so I should basically be considered in every conversation.
Let me tell you about gay men, Jeremy.
What about them? let me hear this.
Yeah, so that was my take on that. I was curious what you guys thought if once you heard it.
So
I would like to give Yang credit for bringing it up, but I don't know whether or not he brought it up unprompted or whether or not it was just the interviewer that
Right.
asked
I
him
think
about
it was a response to a question about the rights of atheists.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
So I don't know who the
You say I'd like to give him
interviewer
credit,
was.
but
Yeah.
So I'll give him credit and I'll point out that things are very different now than they were last cycle. I mean, there were lots of other things to talk about last presidential cycle.
Right.
But I don't really remember any specific question about, but what about atheists?
Oh, no, it's a brand new question, which is exciting by itself.
Yeah.
yeah, I guess we
that
need
end,
to.
it's being asked by journalists
Fair.
Yes.
That's fair.
regularly.
I think we maybe need to start doing what Ireland's doing. Just
Right?
Yeah.
maybe. No?
Yeah.
Stand up and be counted.
Stand up, be counted, keep voting. Things will not always be the way they are. The next generation is
Yeah,
coming.
I mean, evangelicals currently have an enormous amount of power, and yet they are a more minority within Christianity.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
They
all
just
they
have
they,
a lot of money.
Yeah, if they throw Christian, if they throw Judeo-Christian around, one, the only word in that people hear is Christian, and two, they sound like they're super inclusive and actually care about the Jewish people.
Which is amusing for anybody who
Well-
came from a Judeo-Christian background. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's not often the case at all.
It's the
Yeah.
you can be all about that Judeo-Christian life and also then talk about who killed your Lord and Savior.
Yeah, we support the Jewish people so far that we want to make sure that they bring
Bring about-
on the apocalypse.
Exactly. And then they will either convert to Christianity or be killed.
Yeah.
I feel like that should be your quote. We support the Jewish people so much. We want them all
Up to the point that they bring on the apocalypse, and then they can burn in hell for all eternity.
Yeah. Well, just the what is it? The incomplete Jewish people, because it's a completed Jew is one that has found
so
Jesus.
That I think is the most offensive to me, that term.
Mm.
Of this particular discussion, like the idea of like being complete or incomplete, and just I don't know. I was talking to someone at the American Atheist Conference back in April, and she is an atheist Jew, and she said that she was like, it's a persecution envy. Like that's the term that she used. I was like, you're right. That's what that is. It's persecution envy. Because Christians are told that that's how they know that they're on the right track. Like, are you being persecuted for Christ?
Blessed are you if you're persecuted. in the
Right,
name. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And if someone is more persecuted, what?
Well, no
one can be.
We just can't have that. We should support the nation.
But also, we need to be in control of everything and make all the rules.
Yeah, there's a lot of grasping at straws in terms of so-called Christian persecution.
Yeah. In America, if you're in government, there's certainly the sentiment that you're therefore terrible as a person and sinful and corrupt and just there for money and whatever. So almost in terms of we're in control of everything but persecuted for it.
Yeah.